So that's good. We've written tests for all the methods, and all of our tests have passed. So that's what we want with unit testing. However, we can go a step further in unit testing. And the step further is we can look at how much code our tests cover. Okay, if they cover all of the code. To do that, you need an extra plugin to Eclipse. All right, and I have that extra plugin. It's called ECLEmma, and it gives me this icon right here. Okay, see that coverage? All right. I'm not going to do a video on how to install ECLEmma because it is so easy to install. What you do, I'll tell you right now in 2 minutes, you go to the Eclipse Marketplace here. And once that comes up, you look for ECLEmma here. Okay, and there it is right there. And ECLEmma is actually installed on my Eclipse. So this little button says installed, but if it was not installed on your Eclipse, it would just say install. And all you need to do is click that button and everything just happens by magic. All right? So it's very easy with the Eclipse Marketplace to install, certain packages that are in the marketplace. All right? So if you don't have that installed, go ahead and do that. I'm going to cancel out of the marketplace here. And now I've run this unit test just as a unit test, but now I'm going to use ECLEmma to run it with coverage. Okay, so it says launch person test. So I'm going to hit that button and see what happens. Okay, I've passed all my tests, and I should have passed all my tests. But I've only got 92.9% coverage here. Okay, so we can dig deeper into this coverage and see what's going on. So we've got a source folder, and we've got a test folder. And it looks like in my source folder, which has my person class in it, because remember I put my unit test in a different source folder. I put it in the source folder named test rather than the source folder named source. All right, so that just has my person class in it, and this just has my person test in it. Now here's the thing. I don't care about coverage of my test class. All right, I don't want it to take that into consideration. So I want to leave out the test folder from this, and here's how to do that. You go up to ECLEmma, you click on this little arrow, and then you go to coverage configurations. You get this window here, and then you click on coverage, and you can see that it's saying check coverage for the source folder, and then check coverage for the test folder also. Well, I don't want it to check coverage for the test folder, and in general, you do not want it to check coverage for that. I'm going to go ahead and hit apply, and I believe when I hit coverage, it will run again. Yes, it runs it again. So let's see what we get this time. Now it doesn't even give us the test folder, which is good. So we just are worried about the source folder. And let's look at, usually if you don't have something covered, it turns up in red. But there's really nothing other than that person package there's nothing in red here. Let me try to purposely not cover something, and you can see that the code will be in red. So let me go back to person test, and let me go to roster, and then just comment out this test. Okay. And it's easy to comment things out in Eclipse with either Control/ or Command/, depending on whether you're on Windows or a Mac. So that's what I did there. I commented that out, and I'm going to run the coverage again. And now I'm getting terrible coverage. Well, I'm getting relatively terrible coverage, 50.3. The reason for that bad coverage, if we look at the person class, now the person class is highlighted, is what ECLEmma is doing is it's checking every line of code. It wants every line of code to be covered. So you can do this in different ways. You can just say, I just want every method to be covered. I want every line of code to be covered. You can do fancy things with decisions, but essentially the default is to try to cover every line of code. And you can see all of these green lines are covered, okay, which is good. But all of these red lines are not covered. And hence that's where you're getting something saying only 50% of your code is covered. All right, but that's fine. We can fix that by just uncommenting this test now, which I'm going to do. But the problem is, even when we fix that, I'm going to go run that again. Even when we fix that, we still get only 87% of our code is covered. And the reason for that is this class right there, okay? Enumeration types. And let me see if I can delve into this source folder here. If I delve into this even more. Okay, you see everything has 100% coverage. All the methods have 100% coverage, except this sex enumeration type only has 58% coverage. Why is that? I mean, first of all, it's a pretty simple thing. Well, it's just something weird about enumeration types. What enumeration types do is they generate these implicit methods. One is called values, and one is called value of. Okay. And values just returns an array of values, and value of takes a string and it returns one of these constants here. All right. So there's various suggestions for handling enumeration types. Some people just say, don't worry about it. Just, okay, you don't always get up to 100% coverage. It's not terrible. But I like to see 100% coverage, so I'm going to show you a little trick for handling these enumeration types. Okay, so to test the enum, create a test. I'll call it test enum sex. And the two methods that are troublemakers are value and value of. So let's do, or values and value of. So value of returns a type. So I'm going to do assert value of returns one of the constants. value of returns a constant. So I'm going to do assert equals and person, sex, male equals person, sex, and there is value of, and the corresponding string is male unless you specify otherwise it's the same as the variable. Okay, and okay, so I've got assert equals, and I've just got one statement in here, so just going to do that. And for the values, that returns an array. So I'm just going to test the size of that array. And the size of the values array for the enum type sex should be 2 because there are 2 constants. So 2 person, sex, and then there's values, and you can see that it returns an array there, and I'm just going to do length. Okay, so now if we run this test, everything passes, which is good news. So even this test that we just created passes. But more importantly, if we run the test with coverage, look at that. We've got 100% coverage now. Okay, so if we, and it's always nice to see 100% coverage. Okay, and that is it. That's how you can achieve 100% coverage on a JUnit with enums, and that's how you begin to write JUnit tests. I hope you got some information out of this video. This is Dr. K, and that's it for the person test for now. And I will see you in the next video.